Solana Community College TV studio, and this is No Filter, just B&T. Today, we'll be talking about a topic that we ourselves and many others have a very strong opinion about. We'll be talking about ICE. This isn't just about politics or the headlines you see. It's about real people, real families, and real communities, and real situations that are happening every single day. There are a lot of different opinions and assumptions around this topic, so we wanted to actually break it down into what ICE is, what it looks like in real life, and what needs to be changed. Before we get into the opinions and why this topic in specific is so controversial, we're going to start by talking about what ICE actually is.
So to start off, this is the definition of what ICE is directly from their website. It states that federal law enforcement agency is tasked with enforcing immigration and custom laws within the U.S. Its primary functions include investigation transitional crimes, detaining unauthorized immigrants, managing detention centers, and deporting individuals who violate immigration law.
ICE was created in March 2003 following after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, and it was created by DHS, which is the Department of Homeland Security. They primarily operate in the U.S. with hundreds of detention centers and 90 international centers.
And I was kind of surprised about that because you would think since ICE is like trying to get these illegal immigrants out of the country that they wouldn't really want to operate in any other country.
Yeah.
But they don't just do deportations, which you think ICE, you think deportations, but there's a lot more that comes with it. It is involving immigration crimes, making sure that employees who may be trying to get their visa, their green card, follow the immigration laws, and as well as smuggling across the borders and just in the country in general. That includes drugs and weapons and money laundering.
The ERO, which is the Enforcement and Removal Operations, manages these detention facilities nationwide that holds these individuals during immigration processing, so they'll usually be detained and then head on over to these detention facilities. I don't know if it's just me, but like me personally, when I was younger, I don't know obviously if it was just because I was younger, I didn't know much about like politics and what was going on in the world as I do now and as I'm more aware. But I feel like ICE in itself wasn't looked to as this like, obviously I think it always had some type of controversy around it, but I feel like it was never looked to as this like
controversial,
big scary thing,
this big aggressive agency.
Yeah, because realistically it was there to help America feel safer after what happened, but now it's kind of turned into this
something that makes people feel unsafe.
Yeah, something that feels like unsafe, and I feel like it's not what it should be anymore.
Yeah,
I feel like it was something there to help get actual bad criminals out and not let them inside, but now it's turned into a get anybody who isn't
white,
actually
period.
a born citizen here. A lot of people feel like what it's supposed to be and how it actually affects people don't always line up, and that's where the criticism starts. This is exactly what we're going to get into and what this actually looks like for real people and their communities. ICE has stated that they're only targeting criminals, that they're only targeting people with a criminal record, people who've done really bad things, but it's just been shown that they're targeting people, anyone, every day. This is shown because a lot of people who were detained either lack no criminal record, or the majority of the people who were detained for a criminal offense just had a misdemeanor or a traffic violation.
Yeah, something that everybody has done.
Yeah, and it's like crazy because I've even heard stories about how people had maybe a parking ticket or a speeding ticket years ago, and like it was paid off, it was dealt with, everything was done, and then there's still something there's still an issue with it. Like it gets brought back to them, which realistically is not how it should work. It was dealt with, it was done in court and everything, and now they're being deported for it.
And I feel like with that, it makes people so scared because just like the tiniest hiccup could cost them, like, in today's day and age, their life. Like, it could cost them their life or everything they built here, which is just, it shouldn't be that way. They shouldn't have to be scared to not stop enough at a stop sign or go through a yellow light. Like, it shouldn't be that way.
No. I think it's causing fear in so many communities, and it is a very, very sad thing to see.
It's
Especially,
very real.
It's very real, and I feel like people aren't seeing, like, how... I feel like it's... People don't sit back and realize if you don't have that fear every day, if you don't feel the need to, like, be scared to even just go outside, go to the store, like, you don't realize the privilege you have because people have that fear. People are being racially profiled every day, and that is, like, one of the biggest issues with this, because you can be a citizen here, but you can have a darker shade of tone, you can have an accent, and you'll be racially profiled for it.
You'll be
and
investigated.
you'll be targeted, you'll be investigated, you'll be detained, and it's causing so much. There's, like, family separation every single day. Like, people are being separated from their families, being taken away,
homes,
like, ripped away from their homes. Like, people haven't seen their parents for years, for months, even weeks, even days. Like, hurts. Like, you're being separated from your family.
Yeah, these deportations are literally just occurring to people, normal people who lived here for so many years, and actual U.S. citizens, and, like you said, individuals with zero to no criminal record. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It's so hard to comprehend that this is, like, the state of the world that we're living in right now.
And I feel like there's a big lack of transparency in how they operate. I feel like the way DHS is, like, secretly, like, changing the laws and the way these people are able to operate
without really, like, sorry to interrupt you, but without fine. Really, like, letting the like, society know, like, just changing them, and, like, nobody even knows if it's going on. Like, we're such an open country that we should all, like, be able to have an opinion about these changes and be able to, like, have a voice on them.
Yeah, but that's a thing, though. A lot of people don't know what's going on. I feel like people have the idea of what's going on because not everything is being hidden from social media, but a lot of it is not being pushed out as much. Like, something that really shocked me is I'm someone who is on social media. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and it's crazy to me how the way I was getting a lot of the information about what was happening, like in Minnesota, for example, was coming through people who were living in Minnesota, and they were telling us themselves, like, they're not showing you everything that's going on. A big thing is, like, kids were going to school online because schools were being shut down from how bad Minnesota was.
People were hiding in their homes.
People were hiding in their homes, not leaving their homes. And it was just, like, it's a very scary thing, honestly, the fact that we're not being shown what's going on. And I feel like that in itself is not how it should be run.
Yeah, I remember when all the Minnesota stuff was happening, TikTok came across my For You page of this person, like, recording from their, like, their balcony in their apartment, and you could just kind of hear, like, people screaming and, like, all the military trucks, and it looked like such a dystopian thing, like something you'd see out of a movie, and it's just like, this is actually happening. Like, it's not just, like, something we're seeing through our screen. Like, this is happening to real people.
And that's another thing. I feel like before was more like, okay, we're gonna get, like, these bad criminals out, and now it's turned into, like, you're raiding entire states. Like, why is that even happening?
How's
like,
that
why
even
are we
legal?
going door to door just to ensure that you're a citizen? I feel like it's a very unreal thing. ICE is being allowed in schools, they're being allowed in churches, which is just, like,
those shouldn't even be places that those things should occur.
Like, it's definitely, like, it feels, and I think it really is, like a violation of your rights. And this year alone, 17 people have died in ICE custody. Mind you, it's only April. And I read an article where 32 people died in immigration and customs enforcement custody in 2025, making it the agency's deadliest year in more than 2 decades as the Trump administration moved to detain a record number of people. These people have died from seizures, heart failure, stroke, respiratory failure, tuberculosis, or suicide, while some died in ICE detention centers and other in field offices. Regardless, they were all under the custody of ICE. I feel like the detention facilities in general is something that is not spoken on enough.
It's not shown.
It's
ever.
not shown, which I think in general is very telling, the way they're not showing what's going on. But thankfully we have people speaking out about it, people who have even been in the position of being detained in these facilities where they are so overcrowded. People are like basically being just shoved in these cages, and there's so much neglect going on. They are not being fed properly. I've read articles where they're even being given like used underwear to use, and just like
that is crazy.
It is very unhealthy, very like
it's unsanitary.
It's unsanitary. And Jose Guadalupe Ramos was unfortunately a victim of this. He was found unconscious and unresponsive in his bunk on March 25th, according to an ICE press release. Staff attempted to carry out life-saving procedures, including CPR, and then called emergency services, where he was pronounced dead at the hospital. At his medical screening on February 24th, ICE found that Ramos suffered from diabetes, hypertension, and hyperlipidemia. He received daily medication to treat his illness, according to ICE, but it was not clear whether he received medication for a single illness or all three. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security did not immediately respond to a request for clarification, and personally, no statement is a statement.
Yeah, and I think the fact that they can't even attest to whether he got the medication for a single illness means that honestly he probably didn't.
And it's very, very, very inhumane the way that these people are not only being treated, but they go into these facilities telling them like, hey, I have this illness, I have this, I have to take this medication in order to live, and it is just being neglected. And these families of these people have also went and told these like officers and like people at the facilities like, hey, I can give you the medication for them, like please just give it to them, let them take it. And they're like, no, I'm sorry, we can't take that. Which is insane. Like, it's insane. Like, to me, that is willingly like just allowing them to die,
violating human rights. And it's like, we're in this country, it's 2026, like why is this happening? Like, it feels like we're going backwards instead of forwards. And something earlier you mentioned how only it's literally tomorrow's May 1st, and already over half the amount of people that died last year alone have died, and we're only on month 5. Like, that shouldn't be going on. Like, that shouldn't be happening. We're not even half 6 months into the year. It doesn't add up.
And there's so many videos that come out every single day, like where ICE are tackling these people. There's a video of ICE tackling a young mother, like with her kids, like witnessing this, and they just have no regards for these people and how they're treating them, because to them they're just these illegal aliens. Like,
they're not actual people.
No, like, it's insane to me how they treat these people just because of a label at the end of the day.
Just because of what they look like.
Just because of what they look like. And the people who are dying haven't only been like immigrants or non-citizens. They, like, actual citizens have died in the hands of ICE.
Bystanders protesting. For example, the beginning of January of this year, a bystander named Renee Nicole Good was shot and killed by ICE. She was just 37 years old and a mother of 3. And when she was shot, she later succumbed to her injuries in the hospital. Julia Kim from PBS News reported that the footage shows, this is all on tape by the way, there's multiple angles and multiple videos of this occurring. There's footage that shows officers near her vehicle and she stopped in the middle of the road and officers are yanking on her door trying to get her to come out of her vehicle. Keep in mind, she was just protesting and doing the right thing. And as they were yanking on her door, she put the vehicle in reverse and started driving forward. And because she started driving forward, they shot her. They did a bunch of rounds into her car and she got shot 3 times, which then later caused her to crash the vehicle. And when this video first came out, a lot of people were arguing that she was trying to run over or that an ICE officer got ran over, which in the video you can clearly see that he was just fine. He didn't go to the hospital. He was fine.
I think something that comes with all these videos that come out is it just shows how ignorant people are, and ignorant is the best word I can use to describe it, because when it comes to situations like these, it always comes down to having people say, like, okay, well, where's the proof? Like, where's the evidence? Like, where's this? Where's that? And there will be literal video footage put in front of your face, and they will still find every single way to twist it into something it is not. Because she was a legal citizen who was protecting someone in her community and using her privilege and her rights, and it just turned against her, all because she was protecting a member of her community, which is very ironic to me because, again, we're supposed to be this country of unity. We're supposed to be everyone's equal, everyone's working together, and it's just this idea, but then when it actually comes down to it, that's not what it is.
And it just just her getting shot, like, she wasn't harming anybody. Like, they weren't just like shooting, trying to scare her or to get her to stop. Like, they were intending to cause harm.
Yeah.
They didn't just fire one round. They fired multiple rounds
straight at her.
They
could have shot her tires.
They could have
shot literally
anywhere.
anything. They purposely shot her. And another case that got a lot of publicity for another citizen that died, Alex Pizzenti. He was a nurse and a citizen, and again, there is video footage from multiple different angles showing this. He was filming these ICE officers before he was just having a regular conversation with them, not using any, like, not being physical, just just straight filming them. And they saw that he had a weapon, but mind you, in the state of Minnesota, firearms are allowed. It's legal to have a firearm.
Yeah.
But regardless, he wasn't touching it, he wasn't using it, he wasn't aiming it at them, and he was shot multiple times, and he died. And there were people around them offering, like, hey, like, can I help him out? He's gonna die. He's gonna bleed out. And they're like, no, you just have to back away. Like, we have people coming. And then he unfortunately died on the floor. And the thing is, I know these two stories you have definitely heard. They've definitely been spoken about. And it's not only these two people that have died in the hands of ICE. It has been multiple different people, and there are so many different stories that can be told. I think that it's just sad that it actually has to come down to people dying in order for it to be seen. Because realistically, before these people have died, this has been going on for months before, years before, and it's been a real issue. And I just think it's a very sad thing that people have to live in fear every single day, like, for their lives.
I also feel like it's really interesting how the cases that they're choosing to publicize, they have an open, like, air to point the finger at the victim. Renee, people thought she was running over an officer. The person you just talked about had a firearm, but those, like, why aren't we talking about the innocent people? Like, why are we trying to only air these experiences when there's something that we can use to turn against the victim.
Yeah. But for our next segment, we are going to be talking about what we can be doing moving forward, our personal opinions, and what needs to be changed.
I think there's a lot of things that can be solutions. One of the things that I know, it is incredibly hard to obtain citizenship. It is a lot of steps, and it's a very strict. I mean, first you have to obtain a green card, which you can get through a relative that you're connected to that's in the U.S., an employer, a spouse, child, or you're seeking asylum. But I found that the federal law caps the number of green cards available by applicants from any single country at 7%. No matter how many people per year, no matter how many people are waiting, and it's just like, why are we capping that number? It doesn't make sense to me. Why are we capping that number of people who are allowed to be here?
I think something else is reducing the backlog so people aren't stuck in this same like limbo forever, because I feel like a big thing that people want to use against these individuals is, okay, so why don't you become a citizen? Why don't you get your green card?
It's not that easy.
But it really isn't that easy, and that's something that people just choose not to realize, and that isn't on them for it being that hard. It shouldn't be that hard, but it's like they're stuck for years and years trying to obtain this. Like, I've seen so many people like finally be able to like get their green card, and like the relief they feel. Like, it's not like they just don't want to go out and like go through the process. It's a very long and hard process, and I think that there needs to be better processing, and there needs to be way better humane treatment, and improve these detention centers with food and medical care and just proper living conditions
that anybody should have. I think also you talking about how long it takes to gain citizenship, you just have to have your green card alone for at least 5 years. Before you can even really do anything, you have to at least have your green card for 5 years, which is a really long time.
Yeah.
You have to also have good moral character, and you have to stay in the U.S., obviously, but you have to take 2 tests, including U.S. history and reading and writing, which is like, I can't even recap U.S. history off the top of my head. And you also have to go through an interview process with an ICE agent, which is already so, like, would make somebody so anxious going into it with an ICE agent, because, I mean, today's day and age, if you're going into an interview and you know that they're pulling these people from their homes, like, I would be so scared.
Yeah. And that's another thing. A lot of people who are being detained also were in the process of obtaining their citizenship or getting their green card, and they're still being detained. So it's just like, it's very like,
it's very
you want them to get their green card, but then they're trying to, and then you're still going to detain them.
Like, you can't get your green card. You can't be here if you don't have a green card, but how are you supposed to get a green card if you can't get a green card?
No. And I feel like I'm personally a daughter of 2 immigrants. My mom and dad both came to the country when they were very young, and they both are citizens now, but I just know that it was a very long process, and obviously I'm very like, it definitely makes me sit back and realize, like, watching all these videos of these kids and these wives or these husbands or these parents, like, crying because they're just being separated from the people that they love, and it definitely makes me sit back and just like realize that my problems are
so
not that
smaller.
big. They're so much smaller, and I definitely have like the privilege to, even though like my parents are citizens, like I still even have that fear that like, okay, well, they could be profiled. Like, what if they, like, an ICE agent sees them and still detains them? Because that's how realistically it's run. Like, you could still be detained even if you are a citizen, but then you're stuck in this facility until they process you and until they realize, like, okay, we'll let you go. Like, it's a very, very sad thing, and I just realized that, like, there are a lot of people in the world who don't realize that the privilege they have. Like, if you aren't sitting back and seeing, like, if you don't have that fear in you, if you don't have the fear to speak up, and if you don't have the fear to actually, like, go outside and just do your daily things, like, you have privilege. Like, you have the privilege to do that, and so many people are scared to just even leave their house and just go to their jobs and, like, provide for their families, but they still need to do it because that's what they need to do. They need to provide for their families. It's just a very sad thing. And, like, they were told to come here for opportunity. They were told to come here for a better life. It's the land of the free, home of the brave. And once they actually do it, it's an issue.
It's like the opposite. It's really sad. Like, I feel like I keep trying to think of what to say, but there's really nothing to say because it's just so sad and it's so inhumane. It's like when you come here, they don't have anything. When they come, these immigrants come, they have nothing. And when they're trying to gain this citizenship, it's probably honestly really hard to get a job when you don't have a green card or you're in the process, and already just in general with the racial profiling in this day and age. And it's like the paperwork and fees for gaining your citizenship is up to almost $800, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you don't have anything here, how are you supposed to get the money to do that?
They work for what they have, and they are tax-paying people at the end of the day. Like, and people will sit there and they're like, oh, they're taking our jobs, they're taking our homes, like, yada yada yada. Like, no, they worked for that, and realistically, if it's to you and them, you have a higher chance of getting it at the end of the day. Because again, it all goes back to just like racial profiling and equality, and there's just so many issues. And for me, that is what really sticks out to me, is there are so many issues in the world. There are so many. We have issues with our gun laws. We have a homeless problem.
We have problem, overpopulation,
our economy. Like, there are such bigger issues in the world, and we're sitting here and we're choosing to spend so much money on getting these people
out,
sent back. For what?
Normal people.
Like, genuinely for what? Because what are they doing to you? Like, what are they doing to you? And a lot of people sit there and complain, like, we're putting so much of our money and our taxes are going to these stupid things. But it's like, what are you doing right now? Like, what are you putting your money towards to right now? What are you okay? What
are you supporting
with? Like, I think that there just needs to be, there just shouldn't be fear in these communities. And another thing is, it realistically goes back to what our president allows. I mean, we have Trump referring to these individuals as animals or as aliens, but they're people. Like, these are people. They are not those things. Like, they're people. And I think there is, for me, it's very sad because it just goes back to the lack of empathy in the world. I am very big on this. I can literally talk about this for so long. Like, I know you know this. Like, I think there is such a lack of empathy in the world. I feel like things happen every day, and we see these things on our social media, but it doesn't even faze people anymore. Like, it's just like, oh, dang, that's really sad. Next video. And it's just like, how are we, like, okay with allowing this? Like, there is so much stuff that comes out every single day where it's like, our rights are being taken away from us day by day. Like, things are happening and things are changing every single day, and we're just, like, seeing it, and it's just like, well, what can I do about it? And, like, just continue to scroll. And that's so crazy to me. Like, it genuinely, like, blows my mind, where it's just like, how are we hearing this information about these people or about these things going on? And it's just like, well, what can I do?
I think it's like you said, there's a big lack of empathy in the world, and it's just like, why, to me, it's like, why wouldn't you want to be empathetic? you would want somebody to treat you with empathy just as much as like you
Yeah.
should treat someone with empathy.
Because if it was you being stripped away from your family, or if it was your mom or dad, if it was your sister or brother, if it was your kid being taken away, how would that make you feel?
I feel like nobody can judge or say anything bad because they've never been through something like that. Like, and you honestly can't even put yourself into their shoes because you wouldn't even be able to understand it.
No. People choose to care when it only affects them, and I think it's a very selfish thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think people need to realize the privilege they have because they can do something with that, and that's what we're trying to do today. I think it's important to use your voice when you have it, and post about these things when you can, because it's not ruining like your aesthetic on your Instagram
no.
by reposting something. It's not like, why wouldn't you want to post about these things and spread awareness instead of just watching it happen and letting people go through that? I think even if you think you can't make a change, you can.
You can.
There's elections you can vote in. There are protests that you can attend. There's things you can do, and that's like why we're sitting here and we're trying to speak on it. And I just think that there just needs to be a change.
It needs to be talked about more, and even if you're just reposting a post on your Instagram story, you're still putting it out there. Media, I feel like it's filtered. People will make it, the government will make it however they want it to look. So I think even if you only have like 100 followers, like you're still getting it out there and you're getting the message across and causing like, as we put out there more, or even just talking about it, reposting, like you said, like we're doing here today. It's important to bring it to light because with all this going on, I still feel like it's not brought up enough.
It's not. I feel like people are like scared to speak up when it's just
Exactly.
like, for what?
People will
Like,
speak
for
up
what?
and they'll get banned on their Instagram or they'll get censored, and it shouldn't be that way because freedom of speech. Like, what's happened with that?
I just personally have never had an issue with people coming here in search for a better life for themselves or for their families. I think it's a very, very human thing to me, for people wanting stability and safety and a good future. I think we're so big on like embracing culture and embracing like being kind to one
who you
another
are.
and like, but then it's just like, why isn't like the food, like you can't go to a Mexican restaurant and then like just be okay with everything that's going on. Like you're sitting there, you're eating their food, you're wearing like, you want their culture and you want these traditions, but you don't want the people. And it's
It's just crazy. This isn't as relevant to what you're talking about, but the other day, somebody came through the line at work and asked one of my shift leads, who is Mexican, do you know any good taco spots? And it's just like, why are you asking that to her specifically? Like, is it because she looks like she is Mexican? Like, that shouldn't, why? It's just such a weird question to ask somebody at the workplace, especially because we work at a coffee place.
Yeah.
Like, why are you asking me about tacos at 7 a.m.? To me specifically, it's very off. That was very off-putting to me.
yeah, I think people just have a lack of respect. And I think people are gonna, realistically, in the world, there will never be like, I feel, maybe it's crazy to think, but like I don't think there will ever be like a middle ground. I think people are always gonna have their sides, they're always gonna have their opinions, and that's okay. Like realistically, you're allowed to have your opinions, you're allowed to feel however you feel on it, but I just think it's crazy how it's not even about politics at the end of the day.
It's not.
It's not about if you support this person or this person. It's just about basic human empathy, and I think
rights.
a lot of people lack that now, and it's a very sad thing to see. And I just think
We need to do better.
we need to do better. Like
As
people
a-
need to do better.
As like, I think we're like the second most advanced country or whatever. Like, we need to do better. Like this.
And it's crazy to say that, even because we have so many countries laughing at us.
I know,
like,
it's embarrassing.
Like making
as a
jokes,
country.
like it is embarrassing, and like people are just okay with allowing it, and they think it's about like politics and if you're Democratic and Republican, but it's
We're way
not.
past that.
Like I just feel like people need to sit back and just really like think like that's not okay. Like people are actually dying. Like people are dying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, well, what can I do about it?
Yeah.
Do better, guys. Do better. But today we talked about what people actually experience, and we looked at why so many people feel the way they do about it and why we feel the way we do about it. Whether people choose to agree or disagree, I think one thing that should be standing out is that this is something that impacts families, it impacts communities, and people just trying to build a life for themselves and their families. Mm-hmm. You can separate policy from people, but you can't separate systems from the lives that they touch. This conversation is important to have. Think about the impact that you're okay with and use your voice when you can, and for the people who can't, go to those protests, like speak out on those things,
repost
like
those
realize your
Instagrams.
privilege and use the privilege that you have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Bianca,
And I'm Taylor.
and this is No Filter, just B&T.
If you are interested in a career in sports broadcasting,
whether you're commentating a live game
or hosting your own TV show,
for more information, contact Greg Poff. That's me at solano.edu.
we hope to see you here next semester. And remember,
It's more than just sports. It's an education.